The story of a vital American asset in the fight against Al-Qaeda. FBI Special Agent Ali Soufan, this Arabic-speaking Lebanese-American, interrogated prisoners all over the world. He got one of them to confirm that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was the mastermind of 9/11. Soufan revealed himself for the first time on Sunday's 60 Minutes during an interview with CBS News Chief Foreign Affairs correspondent Lara Logan. She joins us from Washington this morning. Lara, good morning.
Good morning, Jeff. Well, Ali Soufan's story is one that we've been following for a long time. 60 Minutes senior producer Michael Rodetsky had actually been talking to him for 4 years before he sat down in the chair, and it was an exhaustive 7 or 8 hours of interviews over 2 days to get that story. It was one of the reasons it was so difficult for Ali Soufan to talk about. One of the reasons it took him so long is that he was so invested in this both personally and professionally.
In March 2002, the U.S. captured its first high-value terrorist operative, Abu Zubaydah, after a firefight in Pakistan. Ali Soufan and his partner were called in to assist in the CIA interrogation at a secret location in Thailand. Abu Zubaydah was severely wounded, but still able to communicate. From U.S. intelligence files, Soufan had learned a lot about Abu Zubaydah, and he told us that he put that knowledge to good use right away.
When I first met him, I asked him his name, and he gave me a fake name, a different name, Dawood. And I said to him, "What if I call you Honey?" And the look on his face was like, that's it, it's over. And he just looked at me, and he just shook his head. He was shocked. Well, Honey is the name that his mother called him as a child. So he knew that I know everything about him.
Why do you think it mattered so much?
It kind of told him that you cannot play games with us. We know who you are.
And what do you think is the most important information that came out of that?
The most important information is identifying Khalid Sheikh Mohammed as the mastermind of 9/11.
At the time, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, or KSM, was on the FBI's most wanted list for other terrorist plots. U.S. intelligence suspected he was involved in 9/11, but the FBI didn't have any evidence of that. Ali Soufan and his partner, Steve Godin, meant to show Abu Zubaydah a photo of someone else on the most wanted list, but they showed Abu Zubaydah this photo of KSM by mistake.
He looks at me and he says, "Don't play games with me, brother. Don't play games with me. You know who this guy. This is Mukhtar. This is a mastermind of the plane operations."
Of 9/11?
That's what Al-Qaeda called 9/11, the plane operations.
Mukhtar, that's the name he uses?
That was the alias for KSM.
Did you know that?
No, I had no idea. The only thing I knew at the time, I'm looking for a Mukhtar. So when he said Mukhtar, it kind of like clicked. I looked at it and said, "Oh, Steve, you gave me the wrong photo." And I gave it to Steve so he will know who the mastermind of 9/11 is.
You're playing it very cool, but what's going through your head really?
Holy shit, KSM is a Qaeda guy and he masterminded 9/11?
It was an accident?
Totally. Totally.
Lara, it's a fascinating interview. We were all watching last night. And I guess one of the questions is, when Ali walks into these rooms, what is the mindset? He knows these guys have American blood on their hands. Does he compartmentalize that and block that out?
Yes, he absolutely does. I mean, of course, it's not that he's impervious to that. There's definitely a part of him that has a visceral reaction to some more than others. But part of his method is to try and get inside these guys' heads and to outwit them. And if that means, eating pizza with them, sleeping on the floor, taking a nap, praying, which are some of the things that he's done with high-value detainees, then, he's prepared to do it. He says when you have a goal in mind, that's what you're focused on, and that's where his focus is, and that's how he was able to get through it. And I guess, nobody's all bad. You can find their weak spots and go for that.
Although these guys are pretty damn bad. Lara, the cooperation issue, Ali talked quite emotionally at the end of your interview about how he thought if there was more cooperation and more talking between the FBI and the CIA, 9/11 might have been prevented. 10 years on now, how much has that cooperation improved?
Well, it's very difficult to gauge, without another big attack that brings all these issues into focus again. Certainly, the consensus is that there is more intelligence sharing. But when you talk to people in the intelligence community inside these agencies, they make the point that it's not as simple as it seems to the layperson looking at it from the outside. You might think that, well, just share everything. It's important everybody knows everything that the U.S. knows. But some of that information is protected because of sources, some very secretive sources, some double agents. The methods, how you got information, has to be protected at times because to expose that would then shut down, very important intelligence stream. Other information comes from foreign intelligence agencies. That's governed by its own laws and is protected. So, there are many, many rules that dictate when and how information can be shared and with whom. And there's a system that people say is in place for a reason. Now, that doesn't mean that the system always works. So people say that they do their best, but it doesn't guarantee that there isn't going to be information failures in the future.
Lara Logan, a fascinating interview. Good to have you on this morning. Thanks, Lara.